5D mystics, 5D functional adults, 5D enlightenment soul age group, 5D anyones are basically people who have integration of the brain and restorative embodied self. And we actually don't ever feel lost. We're not disconnected from our feelings. In fact, we have emotional maturity. Unlike those who have childhood trauma and then as adaptive children, they use their charged state. I love when I see good therapists out there trying to empower those who have childhood trauma to understand how not to use their charged states. That's because, when you're compassionate beyond a reason, those who are these Zen masters walking the streets, we actually, again, do not disconnect from oneness consciousness. So the Purusha, unconditional love and awareness of self, and Prakriti, our own energy life force, is something we're accustomed to. Because see, I have a body and I have a head. My left and right mode, they communicate. And I have a corpus callosum. And as I put into practice working with the charge, and I did so as I grew up, thanks to my family, they got to teach me how to handle myself. And I got to put it into practice by myself with an inner growth mindset, though. Because see, the mindsets of monkey brain, doll brain, butterfly, one focus, and enamored with oneself, these are all in what yoga or Ayurveda practitioners or spiritual individuals call Maya land. So Maya land is a person who actually has not optimized the use of their brain. In fact, when I hear a person talking about karmics, I feel really sad. Because not only are they using the word erroneously, they're also putting groups of people against each other versus empowering them by educating them about unresolved trauma. I'm trauma informed. So see, a charge means something that comes up. It's very much, in fact, overwhelming, and your brain is already not online because your right mode is where the emotions arise. And if you're not able to use your left mode to say, hey, calm that story down or shut up for a minute because we're upset. And upset means we're going to be in our fight, flight, fright. Attach, cry, collapse, submit, please, appease. So all these words, they mean something to anyone who either knows about trauma-informed because they're helping people. I love to support people who want to become functional adults. So the 5D mystics, we don't get lost in the charge. We don't feel shame when we get yelled at for our anger or our passion or any of it too much. It's not something like, oh my God, I'm too much. We'll learn how to remove the too much from the people who don't want it because that's called respect. So those of us who never feel lost, see, we actually do know how to wield what's power. Power is my mouth. It's the words that I use and how I try to talk to people. And compassion tone is why it's Zen Master Land, as the Zen tradition story from Sadhguru, where this Zen master sees these non-disciples circling a compulsive thief. Now, what you also can learn from any good somatic experiencing an Ayurveda practitioner, and I got to learn about it, is how we can maintain heaven in our body by staying aligned with our physical, energy, mental, our inner values, and our heart body. Lo and behold, 5D mystics, my lovely enlightenment soul age group people, we never lost touch with it, which is why when we're presented with people who, whereas Patrick, besides the fact that, of course, we understand that people don't all like the big S, so sadness, and so they don't want to talk about it, all these things. If only they took seriously their human journey, they might do something about it. People can be sophisticated enough to weaponize psych ideas. But doing so often comes from having low emotional intelligence. Thank you, Patrick Tiahan. And he gives some very good examples of how this happens, picking fights with people when someone or something is going wrong, or something's just bothering you, feeling justified in the mess that unfolds for not wanting to lose validity. You see, adaptive children, as even pointed out by Terry Real, who is a mindful relationship therapist, they don't want to bring harmony. That's why 4D, 3D planes and other soul age groups have interactions with each other that are of charges. But see, the ones of us who are not in charges, it's because we learn how to handle them. It's thanks to our family. So while Sadhguru's quote is, family is a training ground to move beyond likes and dislikes would be that karma, that if you feel are sanctified, non-sanctified, you're just honing it all in. There's adaptive children again. Terry Real says, adaptive children in an interaction, because their inner child was abandoned, but you're an adult, so you're not abandoned. This is a feeling, it's a sensation that comes up. And they're not using mind sight, so they're not sifting their sensations, images, feelings, or thoughts, but it's hard. As Patrick points out, he knows how feelings for a person who has childhood trauma are not lost, but they are disconnected. So you don't have the range of joy, sadness, shame, disgust, curiosity, anger, surprise, meaning a comfortableness with all the emotions. And in fact, he says, as children, we leave our emotional body, emotions, to keep ourselves safe. And he says, I wish we could choose to keep the joy and skip the fear, but it doesn't work like that when a child isn't safe, which is fair and square. There are innate feelings we are all born with. And this is very important to note. So 5D Mystics, the Enlightenment Soul Age group that I'm looking to bring together, we want to tend to mindful relationships. That doesn't mean we're going to sit back as somebody uses their adaptive child charge state to weaponize words, which has happened to me before. And I've never felt lost because I know where my heart is, and my heart is in compassion. So if somebody accuses me, and we're going to actually use, as Patrick points out, when he does this share, he says about how people weaponize their words. Let me go find it because he is so empowering with his education. It's amazing. And in fact, before I move to that one of the areas that equal a red flag is when people get upset at children who are receiving what is a healthy childhood experience. So his meme says this: we can sometimes feel pain, cynicism, and negativity when we see children receiving a healthy childhood. And I actually acknowledged the difference between those who allow free expression of the annoying, quote-unquote, charged state of children versus the ones who want to discipline them and not allow them to have playtime with all of their energy. So this is what he's talking about. In fact, there's a lot of people that I've seen, they don't know about the red flag. So here is what he says. The symptom makes a person sometimes feel ashamed, but he says it's normal if you grow up with childhood trauma to feel this way about when you see a child being able to be playful and disruptive. He says, for example, what does it look like? He gives really good lists because he knows what he's talking about as somebody who lived it and now is a therapist who's helping people to get healed for real. And I say for real because there are people that set up their groups and then they're not empowering each other. They're doing the cancel culture. And they're doing it in a way that is very straightforward because you will understand when somebody's actually, I have to cut you out, they're going to talk to you about it. They're going to have an actual conversation. They're going to say, you know, all of these things, they make me really, and I've met people who have done this. They're in therapy. So that's what I'm saying. A mature human being, emotionally speaking, always talks. They don't do the law. That's only the territorial adaptive child. They want to prove they're right. They're going to take power or try to. They're going to try to get you to see their whole self, whatever it is their story is. If that doesn't work, then they're going to retaliate with anger, hatred. A lot of things happen. And then they're going to withdraw. They do the silent treatment, which is actually something that they think empowers them, but it really doesn't empower anyone. We don't feel lost when it happens. We understand fear has taken over. This is taken, whatever it is, it's something not ours. Talking about the functional adult people. So when I'm growing up, when we are growing up, we don't become less loving. No, we become more compassionate and we understand who we can talk to and who we don't. And usually we're not going to be talking to people who don't know how to have fun with us because family, as I was saying, is a playground for the 5D Mystic and the Enlightenment Soul Age group. So when my loved ones share with me their likes and dislikes, I take them seriously. I see what I can do to meet in the middle, and that's it. And there you go. So what Patrick says about people who see children having a healthy childhood, they balk at what you might perceive to be coddling, charged emotions around fairness, like seeing a toddler getting their way in a restaurant, charged emotions at recognizing development. You made your lunch at 6 years old, why can't they? Seeing your step or your own children have it so easy, seeing families be child-centric when you grew up in an adult-centric. They came first, the adults. So this is very sad because there's a lot of people that actually have things like this and then they go on thinking it's actually something that does not equate childhood trauma. Childhood trauma is about the emotions that are not allowed to be in equanimity or to be expressed. So we can all mature emotions, but it's only when we work with it. And I'm running out of time. Thank you, Patrick, Sadhguru, Daniel Siegel with Mindsight. He's definitely awesome. And I forget other names, but all these lovely educators are trying to support people to become whole. Let us join in. We never feel lost. Again, wield your words with care and love. Compassionate Zen masters is who the functional adult Enlightenment 5D mystics are. And we talk a lot about mindful relationships and growing up.